And they said it won't happen, and then they said it can't happen. Then they said it wouldn't happen, but we did it. Get ready for another episode of the Cookout. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode. As always, I'm joined by a man of many names, Uncle Bobby Diesel, but we like to call him Bobby Six. And of course, on the other mic, my good friend, good man, Chucky? Nah, just simple Charlie. And of course, very excited this week to announce a very special guest, an old dear friend of mine who I've missed dearly. It's good to hear his voice again. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wasted. Wasted, welcome back. How are you?
All right.
What have you been up to?
Well, I started my own wasted show where I just ramble on it about something or say something. But maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got a kidney stone. So I've been in agony for 3 or 4 weeks. I went there because I had this shooting pain in my back, when you lie down. I think there's the sort of the kidney stone. It kind of builds up in your kidney from all it sort of consolidates minerals or something. Mm-hmm. I remember a year or two ago, it was I think it was said 3 millimeters wide. So maybe it grew, but what happens is it moves, and then it moves into the urethra, and then it moves down it gets stuck or something in between the bladder and the urethra, or so you start pissing weirdly different directions. Yeah, and it kind of, and as it works its way along, as it moves around the kidney, it fucking kills. When you lie down, it's getting shot in the back, so you can't move or bend over or anything. And then when it comes out, you're pissing blood and really dark urine.
Have you passed it yet?
I think I did, yeah, because nice. I talked about it on my show.
Nice. We'll get all the info of your show a little bit later, and you can do a plug and tell everyone where you can find it. But I've listened to it a couple times. It's vintage wasted. Now, Bobby, Mr. Six, you seem like a man that would be familiar with kidney stones.
No.
No.
Why the fuck would I be
it's
familiar
worse than
with
childbirth.
Is that what they say?
Worse. Is that a fat joke?
Dude, I'm just as fat as you. Come on.
I know, I've never had a kidney stone.
So nor have I.
A-okay.
Charles, have you?
No, maybe I'm too young for that. I don't know. Is that a thing?
I don't know. I think it's hereditary. I think if I don't know, it might be hereditary, but I know my dad had them when I was younger. Or it might have been gallstones he had, but I know he had some kind of stones in his body and that he had to get out, and he had to do an operation and shit. But whatever.
Yeah, most of them just kind of disperse themselves. If you drink, it's basically dehydration, not drinking enough water, salt intake, eating McDonald's all the time and drinking beer, and then they form, and most of them come out. But I had one that was quite big. And I can't remember if it was 0.3 of a millimeter or 3, but I assume they said that it might just go away. But on the X-ray, it showed up, and then that was a year ago. So then it's probably I didn't do what they told me to do, which was drink 3 liters of water a day.
Jesus.
So it just must have, yeah. And then once it gets into your gets stuck, it starts spasming in your body. Have you ever had that thing where your kidneys or your liver start to you can feel them twitching?
No, I haven't.
No, I think that's a kidney stone. If you my liver is quite enlarged, so it pushes up against my rib cage. Right. That's what I thought it was. I thought that's what it is. It's just, but when they showed me I took my X-ray in, and then they showed me, and it's they said it's probably that, and then that became true. Every week it just got worse. Where I was just and then you start pissing weird. That's the pissing brown stuff, and You know? It's just trying to get it out, I think. And
Now,
it's agony.
Rob, you
That's
drink a lot of
Bobby.
water a day.
I do. Yeah.
Bobby, sorry, Bobby.
Thirsty boy.
You drink a lot of water a day. Do you drink anywhere close to 3 liters?
Well, I drink usually one of them jugs a day.
Yeah,
that's
your jug is
64
massive.
ounces. Oh, thank you. So whatever 64 ounces is, that probably times 2.
Wow.
I probably
Charlie?
over drink.
And
Charlie?
also lemon juice.
I maybe drink like maybe a liter or 2.
Jeez.
Now,
yeah, I'm up there. That's where I'm about, like a liter. Did you
I
ever
think 32 ounces is a liter.
something like that? Yeah. All right, let's move on from that because water intake isn't a very fun topic to be talking about. So, guys, Wasted reached out to me we were talking off on some of the chat boards, and he started telling me about a story that he had about a DogMan. Now, are you guys familiar with DogMan, Charlie and Bobby?
No.
No. Okay. What about you, Bobby?
I don't believe so.
Okay, the
Kinda,
DogMan. DogMan, sometimes called the cynocephaly. It's a characteristic of having a head of a canid, typically that of a dog or a jackal, and the body of a man, a human body. So it's basically a dog man. In other words, also known sometimes in some circles as the werewolf. So this phenomenon comes in many different forms of context. It's an old ancient Greece and Egypt. Obviously, there's always depictions on the caves with the cave drawings of the Egyptian gods with the canine head and obviously the body. But in modern times, there have been these stories of dogmen attacks and people being stalked by these dogmen. One recently was in Australia when he was it was on Boxing Day a couple of years ago, and every time he said he was out fishing. Yeah. Every time he said he was out fishing, and every time he took a stroke of the paddle, there was something on the shore taking stride with each time he was going. So he looked at it and looked over, and it looked like a dog, right? So, and then of course it was once it stood up on 2 legs, he realized that it was a man with a dog head, so AKA a dog man. He said he got a photo of it. I haven't seen it, but this man was convinced that he was stalked by a dog man. And there's a very famous case. I'm going to play a clip of it right now. I do have permission. This is from the guys over at Belief Hole Podcast, and I will give credit where credit's due. It's also from a Dogman podcast, and I will obviously put everything in the show notes as to everyone who needs crediting. But we'll take a listen to this right now. Here's the clip.
But I couldn't because I was afraid I was going to wreck. And then it came closer, and it leaned down. It leaned in, and mind you, this thing is running beside my car the whole time. And it stuck its head in my window, and it grabbed hold of my door with its right hand, and that, I don't know how to describe it as other than that. It was a hand. This thing had huge hands, and it had long black nails, maybe about 3 inches long, 2 or 3 inches long, long black thick nails. And this thing put its right hand on my door, and I could hear it. It put its left hand on my doorknob, and it was jerking at my door, and it was jiggling my door handle. But this thing was leaning in my window, and it was looking right at me. And it seemed like that it curled its lips back, and I know it snarled at me, but I don't really remember hearing it. All I could hear was the sound of my engine and the sound of its toenails as it ran along beside my vehicle, going clack, 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 clack on the pavement.
So there you go. It's called the Cherry Hill case of the Dogman, and this man didn't tell the story for over 35 years because he was scared that he was going to be ostracized from his community and people wouldn't believe him and his wife would separate from him. But he finally came out and told his story. Look for it. It's over on the Belief Hole podcast. It's season 5, episode 3, so 5.3. They do a whole show on it. I reached out to the guys last night, asked them if I could get permission to use their clip, and they said absolutely. So check them out over there. Really interesting stuff. So before we get to your story, Wasted, now that we've introduced the topic to my two co-hosts here, I want to get their take on possible stories or examples that we just heard, or what they think of stories like this when they're presented to you. Go ahead, guys.
Rob?
What? No, Belief Hole, is that the podcast we listen to all the time in the truck back in the day?
It sure is. Same one. Yeah.
Gotcha. So this is a werewolf thing?
It's a werewolf type.
Or is it closer to like Bigfoot or somewhere in between?
It's not Bigfoot at all. It's more like a werewolf type. So it's like I said, the head of a dog. Usually like not like a small dog like a pug or anything like that. Usually has like a German Shepherd type head, kind of that, like a jackal, like I referenced. Longer snout, big pointy ears, stuff like that.
What's the difference between the DogMan and a cryptid?
A DogMan is a cryptid. A cryptid is just an undiscovered kind of folklore, kind of conspiracy theory animal that really hasn't been, like Bigfoot is considered a cryptid also. So is the Loch Ness Monster. So
it can be any kind of animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mixed with a man.
No, that's just the Dogman. This is just an example of a cryptid.
What do you think that what they're seeing is just dogs that stand up on their hind legs that look like humans, or
a wolf?
It could be. Yeah. I mean, you've seen there's definitely some videos of these gigantic timber wolves. There's a famous YouTube clip of that gigantic timber wolf that comes out of the forest and hops onto the road in front of a car, and the car stops, and like this wolf is just massive. And if that wolf got on its hind legs, I mean, it would be terrifying. But if we go back to the Cherry Hill story, this guy was saying that this creature that he saw was bipedal, running on 2 legs beside him. And of all the accounts that we've heard, or I've heard, it's always a bipedal animal. And people have suggested it could be a wolf, like you said, or it could be a bear. But running at the speeds that it did, like this guy said that the creature was keeping up with his car on the side of the road. So, I mean, Charlie, and I say this to you all the time and you hate it, but you're the most level-headed of us all. So I want to hear what you have to say, because I don't think you believe any of this, right?
I believe none of it, Chris. I don't believe any of it.
Nothing. Right?
I think there's many explanations, I'm sure, for this particular fella. He's delusional. He was even just scared. When you're scared, your mind makes up crazy things. I don't know. It could just be a big. I don't know. He's Australian. Could just be a big dog, or I don't know. Kangaroo even looked like a big dog standing on its hind legs.
It's funny that you bring up kangaroo, because if you go on, there's been also cases of, and I talked about this with the guys from the Belief Hole a while back. There's been cases of dogmen that come up to your window and tap on your glass and look at you. So I sent them a video of a kangaroo doing just that. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but also a very popular video on YouTube of a kangaroo sees its reflection in the mirror of the window. Sorry, not the mirror, but sees its reflection in the window, goes up to it, and it wants to fight it, so it's kind of clawing at the window, right? And somebody on the inside of Wasted just opened a beer.
This is my fourth.
Nice, attaboy. So he's from the inside. It looks like this kangaroo is tapping on the window with his claws. It's absolutely terrifying. So I talked to the guys on Belief Hole, and they said that there is some documented cases of a type of kangaroo living in the areas where dogmen have been reported in the U.S. in the past. So that could be a very viable explanation. Absolutely, Charles. But
I think in the U.S. too, like a bear looks like a dog. You know, bears can get up and they're pretty fast too.
Yeah,
Lots of animals
black
look like
bears.
dogs.
Black bears would be the best guess probably for that.
Yeah.
right.
'Cause
Okay,
most,
But it
most
could,
even
it
wolves
could
are-
also be like some guy.
Right.
It could also be some guy just like fucking with people, like in the
Yeah,
woods.
that too, right?
That-
Yeah.
guy in a bear suit.
Yeah.
Now-
Well, if the dog thing, the werewolf kind of person, maybe possible. How tall are they then?
They're reported at like about 7 feet tall.
So it'd have to be
But-
like a huge.
You know, again, I don't
When you're scared, you start to
personally, me-
exaggerate.
exactly. People do exaggerate when they're scared. Me, I'm the guy that wants to believe. So I have no problem saying that I want this story to be true, right? Because when I hear stories like what's that?
Plus drugs, like
Sure, yeah,
LSD
well, yeah.
or whatever, like tripping.
Sure.
Somebody might be on the road, and maybe it was just a dog or something, or a man, but he
Could be.
saw it as mushrooms or whatever.
But let's get to your story, Wasted. I want you to tell your story.
Okay. Well, I was like, because I live in Asia, I go back to the UK and visit my parents. Because I go there, like I can't really. It's not in the country. It's in the countryside, so I can't really go like to a Burger King or like get some food, or I can't just open a beer like at 10 a.m. in the morning. So normally when I'm coming back, like going to the airport, as soon as I get through customs, I go straight to the Burger King and get like a double Whopper and like the biggest like Pepsi they've got, and I just like eat it really, really fast. And on this occasion I just went like straight to my gate. I was probably like an hour early for the flight to the Middle East before I came over to Asia. So because I just ate this like Whopper and I hadn't had one in like normally I eat some kind of terrible like fast food every day, but I basically going back to my parents is like being in rehab. I'm just eating like normal food and drinking like a normal amount. So as soon as I ate this like the Whopper and I drank the Pepsi, I think it's the Pepsi maybe. As soon as I got to the gate, I was like an hour or something early. I just needed to shit immediately. So I went into the toilet. But as soon as I got in the toilet, there's this huge like stench, like the worst smell of shit that you've ever smelled. But I knew this shit, but I can hear like down in the bottom stall, there's all this like, it's like two guys are fighting. Like there's all this noise and like growling. And then there's this, when you take a shit and you just go, there was all these like noises, like guttural sounds coming from down there. And the smell was so bad. It just like some guy is just taking the biggest shit. I mean, like the biggest shit or the worst shit. He was puking or something. So the smell was so bad that I just like went back out.
Now, I just want to interrupt there for a sec. Just backtrack. Where were you? You were coming home. You had to stop on the side of the road.
I was at the airport.
Okay.
Because I get to the airport and I go through customs. As soon as I get through customs, I go to the Burger King. Then I go to my gate to take a flight back to the UK. So I went into this toilet to take a shit, but the smell was just too bad. And in the bottom stall, there was just this like bloke or guy just taking a massive shit, and he was like, it was like loads of like not screaming, but I would say it was like grunting and like the release, huge dumps going in. So I just went out of the toilet, and I was just like hopping around and like going, I really, really need to shit. I need to go back in there and do it, you know. But then it sort of subsided, and then I just realized I maybe just needed to take a piss. So I just went in there, like kind of covering my face, and went for a piss. And then I went back over. Then I went to the sink, and I was like washing my hands, and just that guy stopped making all the growling, and something comes out of the stall at the end, and like you said, it was like 7 foot tall, and basically had the head of a dog, but it was just wearing like tidy whities or some kind of white cloth, had massive feet and claws, and
you saw this?
Yeah, it just comes out of the stall, and I was at the sink washing my hands, and it comes over, and it's like literally massive, and there's 2 sinks, and I'm washing my hands in the water, and it like comes in, turns on the tap, and it starts washing its hands. It's got like hair all over it, like long fingernails, and it basically puts its hand under the water and says something. It said like, "Oh, the water's a bit chilly," and I was like, I was washing my hands. He's right, and then it just left. And he was right. The water was cold. I was with the hot water, and it was like rubbing my hands and washing my hands, but the water was very, very cold. And then he went out, and then I was like, what did I just see? Because it just happened so quickly. But it basically looked like something like Jeff Goldblum, but with a dog face, totally naked, but just with the Y-fronts on, or some kind of white towel around there, like hair all over his body.
This was at the airport in London?
Yeah.
Like Gatwick?
No. Gatwick's the more local one. That's Heathrow in London. No, this was in the Birmingham airport. Birmingham Internet. That's where I'm from, the Midlands. So,
Jesus.
so I went out after, like, looking around, and there was another guy standing there, like right in front of me. Just there's nobody in the airport at this time because I was early to my gate. Most people were still back in the sort of restaurant area where there's bars and Burger King and stuff. They were all back there. So there's hardly anybody there. But there's one guy there. And I was like, did somebody come out of here? And he was like, no. And I looked left and looked right down these like long like airport corridors, nothing. So.
Oh. Yeah. You brought
like
this
really
up
long, like slick black hair, right down his back, and a kind of like dog face, like not like a Snoopy dog, more like a pointer. You know what a pointer setter is, or something like that. But white. The whole skin is white and black hair.
Were you on any sort of narcotics at the time?
No, I was going through customs. So yeah, I just took all the LSD I had on me before I went through.
Beauty.
No, I didn't. It just so happened in like but the stench in there and the heaviness of the shits. You know, like when you got diarrhea and it sounds like water. It sounded like that, and there was loads of this sort of like grunting and like growling. And then it felt like when I first went in, I thought it was 2 guys fighting in the stall, until I noticed the shitting noise.
The smell is a very common trait associated with the sites. There's whether it's actually most cryptids, from Bigfoot to the skunk ape to whatever, to the dogman, people associate it with a foul smell more often than not. So I'm really interested to get your guys' take on this story, because I mean, as far-fetched as it sounds, I mean, I believe it. I believe that you saw what you saw.
The only explanation is that it's just like a guy who just shit himself so badly he had to take his clothes off, and he came out of the toilet just wearing like a Y-front or something. And he was a huge guy with black hair. But but he had like like a dog face, a very long nose pointing.
Was there any hair on his face?
No hair on the face, apart from maybe like a black hair on the jaw, and his chest, legs, very large feet as well.
And nobody saw him after he came out.
No, there's somebody standing there, but there wasn't anybody there at the departure because I went there early.
Right.
Because after I had the Burger King, double Whopper, I just suddenly needed the shit really bad, and I always go to the gate early. But yeah, it was just, and maybe the Pepsi.
Right.
But yeah, but as soon as I went in there the second time, I just needed a piss, and it disappeared. Crazy. And the second time is when the guy came out from the bottom, this naked kind of like DogMan. So I don't know how tall, much taller than me. Like his head was like touching the light near the mirror where we're washing our hands. And he said something. Yeah, he said like the water's quite chilly in a really like British accent, in an English accent.
So good.
Like, what?
So good. Charlie, what's your thoughts?
I got no thoughts, man. I'm sure you believe that you saw this thing.
I don't necessarily believe that I saw it. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that I saw. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't believe that.
We talked at length last time about just our minds making things up, our subconscious. I'm sure you were tired from traveling there. I'm sure stress. There's so many other different things. Like brains are weird, right?
Yeah. But where did he go?
Exactly.
I don't know. How is this cryptid dog man get into the Birmingham airport?
I don't know. That's what that's what I thought.
That's the craziest thing I think about it is like he wouldn't get past customs.
But I thought that he was like a worker. You know what I mean?
Was this before or after 9/11?
This is just the other the summer. When did I come back? In the winter? No, after Christmas. Something like.
There's no way a creature like that's getting in the airport.
Yeah, unless it lives in the like baggage area of an airport. Like it comes in from a forest. Like Birmingham, all of England's in like a forest, isn't it? Like countryside. There's all kinds of fucking wild animals about. Huh? And there's also women that are quite wild animals. But I thought that maybe he was like worked there, like, and that would be, for him. But it's just the noise that he's making. Like when I first went in, I didn't realize. But afterwards, I realized that he's like growling, and the stench. It's not human. It's not a human shit. It's not normal. Like I take like powerful shit sometimes, or get diarrhea, but the smell was something like not normal. But he could have been like a baggage guy, somebody who moves like stuff around, and then he just took this horrible shit and he shit his pants, and then he stripped off. I didn't really check. I should have gone back to check what was in that toilet at the end.
Now, let me ask you a question here. How far away? Birmingham, you said, right?
Yeah.
How far away from Birmingham is Wexford County?
Wexford's not a county.
You know what? I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Never mind. I was just curious. There is. I just saw the story and I saw Wexford County and I presumed it would be in the UK, but it's actually in
Ireland.
No, it's actually Wexford County, Michigan, in the United States.
Oh.
So
it's not even close.
Just a little bit down the road. So another pretty popular case in folklore. In 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan, United States, the creature is described as a 7-foot tall, blue-eyed, bipedal canine-like animal with the torso of a man and a fearsome howl that sounds like a human scream. According to the legends, Michigan DogMan appeared in a 10-year cycle that falls on years ending 7. And sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant and the lower peninsula. So there's one in Michigan. There's the one in Australia. There's the one that Cherry Hill, which I believe is in Tennessee, I think, or anyway, one of the southern states down in the U.S. And those are just three small examples, plus Wasted's example over in Birmingham. So I understand the skepticism from everybody, but personally, like I said, I want to get Rob to chime in a little bit too, because do you believe in any of this, Rob? Is this something that you've ever put any thought into?
No. I mean,
No.
there's some things. There's like Nessie. You can make a case for Bigfoot, but this is just kind of, there's not enough alleged sightings, and there's not enough. Most of the things, like one's in Australia, one's in Michigan.
This is 3. It's probably the most reported cryptid sightings in today's times. It's
besides Bigfoot.
No, it's taking over Bigfoot. There's so many stories coming in now, and if you go on podcasts wherever you get it, there's countless podcasts now that are solely based on DogMan. I mean, there's one, the most popular one is called DogMan Encounters, and this guy has let's take a look here. 468 episodes of individual encounters from DogMan, from mostly all over the United States, but North America and the world, right?
That's the thing, though. It's just that it's a bit like the pyramids, that they were built all over the world, and everybody had the same kind of, in different continents, they had the same kind of experience.
Yeah.
And you find the same kind of symbols. So you have like DogMan sightings in all different places. It's just like,
I do have to interrupt you there, Wasted. I do have to, just going back to DogMan Encounters Radio, that clip from Belief Hole, I do have to give this guy credit. That clip from Belief Hole was on their show, used from the DogMan Encounters podcast with Vic Cundiff. So he was the one that originally did the interview with the guy, and now I'm kind of like third in the line for reporting it. But I promised the guys that I would properly credit everybody. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember the one from Skinwalker Ranch? Do you remember that story where they go up to the cabin or the house, and what is it? Are they in the cabin, and then they come out? The family comes out of the house, and there's like a giant DogMan. And then it runs away, and they follow it through the swamp or their property out somewhere. And then when it vanishes, and then those like globes, fucking glowing blue orbs, they see glowing blue orbs. Is that the same story all in one? They get kind of lured out.
I don't know about the blue orbs, but I've definitely heard the story at Skinwalker Ranch where they have a creature that has been reported that is very similar to the DogMan in traits, but in by the way it looks and sounds and all that. Now, it's really important to me that like we get Rob and Charlie talking, because I mean, I'm totally down for this. Like I believe this, so like I search stories out because I believe this, and I love all the stories, and I love listening to the podcasts. And I know Charlie's thoughts on this, and that's fine, and that's why I love him, is because he's on the polar opposite of the spectrum than I am. It's just I thought Rob was going to be more of a wild card. I actually thought you were going to be more accepting of it, Rob. I thought this would be something that would be in your wheelhouse.
No, it's pretty much all horse shit to me.
Really?
I'm pretty skeptical of just about everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like I've never seen an alien or anything or UFO, and I always think like UFOs are like not UFOs. They're basically military, sort of, craft.
Yeah,
that they
test
don't
vehicles.
want. Yeah, that they don't want people to know about and stuff like that. And I've never seen a Bigfoot or anything like that.
For me, like the alien and the UFO thing is more that's more based in like actual scientific fact, whereas like a 7-foot tall fucking wolf guy running 40 mile an hour at a car is not that realistic to me. Whereas like statistically speaking, like aliens probably do exist because there is an almost infinite number of universes out there. So I mean, just the probability is pretty high for that. But Loch Ness Monster is probably.
But don't those stats don't they apply to dogmen too, though? And are dogmen just aliens?
I mean, yeah, they suppose they could be, but I don't know.
Well,
I haven't read up on the dogmen enough. Clearly,
no, I haven't. But I know that isn't one of the. I've forgotten who was saying that. Isn't there one of the programs that they say is in like is it Roswell or whatever? These secret government programs is like cloning different animals. So it depends where you see these things. Like, have they escaped? Like if they let like a virus escape from a lab, could they like lose some kind of like man-humid, hybrid of a man and a dog, and they lose it for a bit, like an escaped prisoner, and eventually they capture it?
Yeah, I mean that's possible.
To me, everything's possible. That's the problem. Like even the alien stuff is possible. They could be aliens that come down.
But they weren't doing that in 1887.
I don't think that's true, though.
Well,
I think
Michigan Dogman that's when they encountered him, was in 1887.
Yeah, so that in my opinion wouldn't be any sort of government experiment gone wrong where the the Wolfman guy got out, right?
But there was the werewolf stories from like Victorian times.
I mean, the werewolves can be traced back to like.
Is that the same thing though?
Well, I mean, pretty much. I mean,
are we talking about werewolves here, or are we talking about Dogman?
I think they're one and the same. I think they're interchangeable.
Oh.
I always think like werewolves are like it's like Back to the Future. It's like a metaphor for puberty, but
that could be.
It's like a story, but yeah, I think you can interchange them. Like if you don't know what it is,
there's stories. Are there werewolves going back to the Middle Ages?
Yeah, are canines native on every continent that we know of, or
in China they probably like dogmen because there's like more meat on the bone.
Yeah.
Are canines?
I would guess they are. Certain breeds are not.
It's like a Greek myth as well, isn't there? Isn't there like a minotaur or something? Isn't a minotaur a kind of like a cryptid?
That's half bull, half man.
And Egyptian, I always think like those Egyptian symbols, they look like dogs.
But they also worshipped animals, more so.
But that's what I'm wondering. Like you were talking earlier about how there was photo or pictures on walls of dogs in most civilizations, dogmen. But if those animals are natural to those areas, especially back then, these people loved to worship them and think they were higher beings, right?
Yeah, more than pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing you see. I don't know the name because I haven't researched this because this was all shit in my head recently. But the Egyptian thing, what you see with the dog, like Osiris, or it's not Osiris, but that fucking thing. So that like is that a man dog or dog man?
It's a cynocephaly.
That's that's a big word.
It's a cynocephaly.
I don't do big words here.
Cynocephali were familiar to the ancient Greeks from representations of the Egyptian gods.
Okay.
Damutef, the son of Horus, Wepwawet, the opener of the ways, and Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead.
Right now.
Right?
The Sphinx is like a cat or something.
Yeah, that's the cat one. But everybody knows that one because that's the thing on the pyramid or whatever, right? Or like there's a statue of it.
So in ancient,
where the word sphincter came from, Charles, did you know that?
That's it. The old sphincter.
The old sphincter.
The ancient Egyptian hybrid image, the head represents the original form of the being depicted. So, as the Egyptologist Henry Fisher put it, a lion-headed goddess is a lion goddess in human form, while a royal sphinx, conversely, is a man who has assumed the form of a lion. Does that make any sense?
Yep.
Well, I think the Egyptians didn't they they tried to the kind of pharaohs they altered their skulls and things in kind of respect to animals, didn't they? That they tried to make themselves look more like a cat through like cosmetic surgery. Like they elongated their skulls and elongated their jaws. So some of this stuff could be like some crazy guy who thinks that he's a wolf.
Yeah,
he's a huge guy and he has some like surgery. Remember what's that? The plastic surgery woman who looks like a cat. That she's fucked up her face with plastic surgery so bad that she looks like a lion or something.
There's a guy with
maybe they're into like LARPing or something, you know?
Charles, that's not LARPing.
That's definitely.
That's talking about the people that dress up as like horses and they compete in like show jumping and like equestrian.
Yeah.
They wear all like the girdles and all the leather straps and everything, like, and they like prance like a horse, or they jump over they go around barrels, they jump fences and all this other stuff.
Or like fuzzies or
furries.
Yeah,
that's completely different too.
It's different, but it's the same though. The humans want
to
be like an animal.
Yeah,
it could be like a psychological thing. Some wild guy who's homeless may start
they want to identify as a cat,
a wolf or a cat, and live in the trash or something. And
they
live out in the countryside.
And you think these people are going up to people's windows and knocking on them and scaring them on purpose?
Yeah, why not?
I think that story sounds more like a dog, like a giant dog that attacked the car and ran alongside. I've seen, on the Fatcast, wasn't there didn't we have some video where this kind of, it was running on four legs and then it stopped. You know, like a meerkat goes up on two legs to look around. That sometimes these look big like wolves, like they stand up on two legs to look around.
Yeah, that's one of the few like bipedal animal. It could have been an ostrich too. They run on two legs.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could have something of the sort. But he said that it had hands, right? And he said it reached in and
that might have been his penis.
His penis.
Yeah.
Do birds have penises?
Well, how do you think they fuck, Charles?
I don't know enough about birds to know.
You never watched a bird fuck?
Oh, I've watched them like try to fuck, like with dancing, you know.
Oh, remember that guy who got caught with a chicken attached to his dick? He was like fucking this chicken, and he got it caught on his dick, and he couldn't get it off. And it was sometime in the 90s. He had to go to hospital and have the like chicken removed from his dick.
Couldn't get it off.
That's basically how you get chicken flu, isn't it? Like bird flu. You've got to be like handling chickens.
Apparently, bird penises are mostly like spirally.
Isn't that the cock? Isn't that like the cock?
Like a cock.
Talking about chickens.
Fuck is that?
What's going?
I bought it at a market, like a Chinese market. I was walking down the road back from the shop, and there was this like guy on the road with like a blanket, and he had all these like rubber chickens, and I was just like, what the fuck? So I bought one.
Nice.
Checks out.
So this is a story from October of 2020, and it's in the Mirror, the UK paper, the Mirror. The headline goes as follows: Man jailed for having sex with chickens while wife filmed, allowed to keep animals again. So
What?
Rehan Beg, 37, was jailed for 3 years for having sex with chickens. But a legal technicality means he can still keep the animals because he wasn't charged with any cruelty offenses.
What was he charged with?
I don't know. Let's read on. Like, it's a twisted pervert jailed for having sex with chickens while his wife filmed will be allowed to keep the animals again after a lifelong ban was lifted. He admitted to abusing the birds, which him and his wife kept as pets. He had a stash of sick home movies of him violating the animals, along with, well, okay, we won't get into that. He was into diddler. So, as part of his sentence, Judge Richard Ransell banned Beg for life for keeping any animal. However, he was forced into an embarrassing U-turn on Thursday. So, what judge said he could not make the order because the offender was not charged with animal cruelty. So I guess they fucked up the case and they didn't charge the guy properly. So now he spent some time in jail. He could come back out and fuck more chickens. They had a GoPro camera rigged up in the cellar to capture the footage of both of them indulging in the depraved and perverted acts. So one of the birds was dead when. Yeah, so
he's fucking
horrifying
dead
footage of abusing birds was saved in the folder Family Vids. So there's some sick people out there that like to fuck chickens, I guess.
Where else would you save it?
Well,
Did you see that story about the like 22-year-old who is trapped in an 8-year-old's body?
I saw something about that a couple.
I'll send you. I think I'll try and send you a link in the.
Is that like Hasbullah?
I'll try and send. I'll send you the link in the Skype call. It brings up a lot of problems. It's quite problematic.
Is it Shauna Ray? Is that the 23-year-old woman?
Yeah, that's what it says. She has got a document. It's an old-ish story, isn't it? I remember seeing it a long time ago, and then thinking we should do it, but then we didn't. So.
So she's not acting like an 8-year-old. She's just 3 feet tall.
Yeah, she's just really small, and she's in the body of an 8-year-old girl, but she's basically 22, and she drinks white wine in the picture, and then she's like. And she just attracts, most of her life she's just attracted weirdos, but she's found somebody who just likes her for who she is. But it's basically G and R liars. Would you? No. So you're not attracted to her even if she has a good personality.
No, that's horrible. No. Do you guys open up chat?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I got it here. I'm reading it here.
I just want to see images. That's all I give a shit about. There's nothing wrong with shagging a midget. Are we allowed? Oh, can you edit that out? Are we allowed to say midget?
No, I'm not going to edit anything out. We're going raw dog today. So.
Okay, well.
I think it's a bit like the Down syndrome thing. If Down syndromes are allowed to have babies. And allowed to have sex with each other, can you have sex with a Down syndrome?
I think that's probably different. That's a mental thing.
Yeah. Whereas
this is just a physical thing.
Yeah, this means if you look at her and you're attracted to her visually, then that means you want to fuck 8-year-olds.
Well,
But you're just not allowed to. But if she's 22, really, she's broken. It's a glitch in the matrix.
that's the same with any
Yeah.
little person, though. I'll just say.
Yeah, but they look slightly. They don't look like 8-year-olds, do they?
Well, depends who you ask, really.
Yeah, but that guy, what's he called? Dink. Was the guy from Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Oh, Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. He looks like a man, doesn't he? He doesn't look like an 8-year-old boy. He looks like a man that's been like shrunk, and then he like fucks prostitutes. Like a true player.
I'm looking at the picture now. Where it looks like they're at work or something. It's the guy, the girl, then her, and then there's another girl beside her, and they're all like towering over her. She doesn't look like an 8-year-old. She looks like a midget, like a woman midget to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. I would.
Yeah.
So you would.
Why not?
On the podcast live.
I don't know if I don't know. I don't know. No.
I think overall, no. But it brings up some interesting questions.
I think it would depend on how you met her. I think. Like,
but yeah, does everybody want to like fuck an 8-year-old? Really, they're just not allowed to. No,
that's horrible.
Just looking at her picture, I would say no. But if I met her and she was like, an adult.
But how long would you like ask for ID?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
And then like a written statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have to.
Like 3 forms of ID, probably.
But to me, that doesn't look like an 8-year-old.
No, I agree. It doesn't look like she doesn't look like an 8-year-old to me.
And there's a lot of midgets are attractive. Surprisingly,
little person.
Sorry, Charles. Midget.
Dwarfs. But I definitely saw, like when I looked at it, one of the pictures she's holding a wine glass.
Yeah.
And she doesn't look 8 at all, really. But then the other one where she's like doing a handstand or something, she definitely looks.
Yeah, there's the one she's in like a Christmas looking photo with her mom or something. She looks like
I don't think I'd go up to her at a party and start hitting on her because I would just think that it was a kid.
Well, if she's at a party.
Why would a kid be at an adult party?
Exactly.
So because people are dumb and they bring their kids to dumb things, They
don't let
like
the kids
Drew Barrymore
go around drinking beers, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway. If I met her in front of a daycare center, yeah, I'm probably not going to be hitting on her because you're just unsure. But at a party, if she's sitting there having a beer, I'll fucking say hello.
Yeah, strike up a conversation, and she's a nice lady.
Yeah, you don't know.
She does look older than she did. Like, there's pictures of her in a party dress. That's not how she looks now.
I wonder
that was
like for Halloween she goes out as like a Paw Patrol character.
Yeah. So going back to
just to get some candy.
No, she's 22.
Do you know Hasbulla?
Who?
Hasbulla. He's famous on TikTok. Now he actually looks like a young boy, but he's like.
I always thought it was a boy, like a kid.
No, he's like 23 or something. That's a guy. I thought he was an actual condition.
Yeah, I thought he was one of the fighters' kids.
No,
for the longest time.
He is. He's 20 actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if you Google it,
I'm looking at it right now.
He was born in 2002. So he actually looks like a little boy, but he's 20.
Yeah, but he looks like a little boy who's got like circles under his eyes and lines around his mouth from age. Like, you look at this, you look at him and you're like, he could be 5 or he could be 50.
Exactly.
What a weird guy.
Yeah, it says Bula.
And in reality, he's right in between those.
Go ahead, Charles.
There's also that comedian is called Bosco something. I think he's also like that. He looks like he's like 11 or something, but he's a guy, a grown man, like a comedian.
Mario Bosco?
Yeah, isn't he one of those? He looks very young. He's not really as young as he looks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he looks like a child. Well, again, like in one picture, he looks like a child. And then you scroll over and he kind of looks like Ellen.
Yeah, also the way they dress. They dress in suits, even though they look really young. So
I actually thought that was a woman.
Yeah.
I saw him, I guess, on like a fucking on a TikTok somewhere. A terrible joke. 1973 he was born, I guess.
Mario Bosco is older than me?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
50.
Okay.
50. Okay.
Child, the math was impeccable there.
Charlie is a sharp guy. Never underestimate Charlie when it comes to numbers. He's got Rain Man abilities.
You just gotta give me a couple of seconds to get it.
That took about 45 seconds to figure out a relatively simple solution, but that's okay, Charles. You did your best.
All right.
Now, guys.
Go ahead. We're talking about
Cynocephalize, werewolves, DogMan. Wasted story of the airport Jeff Goldblum.
I don't know where Jeff Goldblum came in there. Somebody's taking a piss.
Oh.
The loudest thing I've heard tonight.
that wasn't that good, really. Yeah, normally I go much longer.
It's the kidney stones.
Yeah, it is. Yep. I used to have a powerful stream.
Well, I mean, they say as you get older, that's one of the things to go for. Speaking of which, I'm wearing glasses tonight because my short vision, my near vision, whatever, I don't know, what is it called? Near, when you can see far but you can't see close, you got to wear glasses. It's just gone to shit. I opened up my computer tonight. I couldn't even fucking read it because it was all just blurry. So I went upstairs to get my glasses. I have to wear these fucking old man glasses now. I don't know. I'm getting old.
Have you heard of LASIK?
Dude, I got LASIK a few years ago.
Ugh, you're fucked.
But this isn't like LASIK. This is just old man.
Yeah, you can't fix that.
Yeah.
That's far-sighted.
How far-sighted am I? What?
Isn't that far-sighted? I always forget. It gets mixed up.
It's backwards.
You can see far but not short. That's far-sighted. Short-sighted means you can't see long.
So I have my long vision is fine. I can see excellent. It's great. It's just looking down at a piece of paper now. It's all fucking blurry. I got to put these stupid glasses on. But
yeah, I got some, but I got the prescription just randomly from the supermarket.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 or something.
Oh, dude, I'm
really
only at
strong.
1.25. I'm at the smallest possible.
But I don't need these. I put on 1 or 100 or something. That's all I need. But I've got these 3.5s. It's like a magnifying glass, I put them on. I have to hold if I try to read the side of this beer can, I have to hold the can against my nose to read it with the glasses on because they're too powerful.
It's like Jerry Seinfeld when he's at the theater, picks up those old glasses.
I was looking at some like tax details. You know, when they like the banks, every time you try to do something, they send you like this, like a tax form that is almost like you're trying to dodge your taxes, and they want your like all your numbers, like was it TIN numbers? You know, and you have to find them. I was trying to do that on my phone. I had the phone like I've got to do this like online. You got to sign with your finger at the end.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
And you've got this contract. I'm like, got it. I've got the phone against my nose. I'm like looking at it. It's like 8:30 in the morning, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It could be a scam, you know. Am I signing my, you know, power of like my mortgage over to somebody else?
Well, who knows? Well, boys, we're hitting about an hour now, so it's probably time to wrap it up. Charlie, anything you want to say?
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
It's all. There's no DogMan. There's no.
I think you're bullshit, Charles.
Sasquatch. There's no Igo Pogo. There's none of that shit.
Ogo Pogo.
It's all bullshit.
Ogo Pogo, yeah. All right, well,
You're close, Charles.
Actually, where I'm from, it's the Igo Pogo. But
okay.
digress.
All right.
Oh, so that means there's more than one. So that means it's real. Is that right?
Okay.
That's how
Robbie?
that works. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got to say this week, Rob? I thought you were very interactive this week. I thought you brought it this week. There was no weird voices from you. You know what?
Hey, have you ever had to accidentally jerk off in your own hand?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
What's the jizz story of the week? You got one?
By all means, you got a jizz story of the week. Tell your jizz story of the week.
Still don't have a jizz story of the week, but I just want to have that as a segment.
But then talk about it.
I don't have any
Your
stories.
segment. You want a jizz story of the week? Bring a jizz story.
I
We
don't
all
have
have
any.
one. I fucking jerked off in the shower, and I don't know. That's my
What a
jizz story of the week.
What's the story?
It's not much of a story.
No, that's why it's not my segment.
That was the
that's
start,
not. That's
middle, and
why
end.
I don't want to bring
Right
jizz
there.
story of the week to the show because
I just want to have a fun segment like that.
Rob, you ever
Sure,
jerked off to a 22-year-old that looks like an 8-year-old?
Not yet.
I was jerking off to Carrie Lake on my computer, and she wears a cross around her neck. So I was like, I just targeted the cross around her neck.
That was Carrie Lake.
You jizzed on your computer screen?
Yeah, I've got to hit Carrie Lake's cross.
Well,
Easy to clean.
I there you go. I mean, it's not something I've done. I don't even know who Carrie Cross is.
Carrie Lake.
Carrie, yeah, you're jerking off on Carrie's Cross. That's right. Carrie Lake. I will be looking her up immediately after we.
Carrie Lake. She's a Republican like politician. She's involved in that like election fraud case at the moment, and she looks like a blonde Fox News presenter. That basically cut her hair short and gave up coke, and now she just does lines of Adderall. That she was still like, she will still let you like do cocaine off her asshole, but she's got like a cross around her neck.
I'm looking at her right now. She kind of looks like Sharon Stone a little bit.
Halle Berry,
Yeah, I was getting a little Halle Berry, a little. I don't know. She looks like a cunt. I don't know.
She does. All right, boys. We are going to wrap it up here. But Wasted, you have a show. Do you want to tell us about it?
The Wasted Show is on Rumble. 3 episodes a week. Don't expect too much.
Perfect. All right. Well, look for the Wasted Show on Rumble. And with that said, thank you for coming on tonight, Wasted. We hope you'll come back at a later date and of course, Charlie and Bobby. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to stop recording now. So have a good night, everyone.